Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have an ear training lesson and it's about intervals. So there are like three kind of like basically like three different exercises which you can do to spruce up your intervals or to practice intervals and hearing intervals and so different exercises. And all these exercises are just designed for just having the guitar and ourselves, and then practice these instruments. So we don't need like any tapes or like a piano or whatever, another person. It's just we can just do these exercises by ourselves. So that's a that's a good thing actually. Okay, the first thing we can just do is I mean like a basic exercise, nothing to say. More it's just we play a note, we sing it, and then from that note we sing an interval up or down. And remember, also be careful that you also practice all these intervals up and down, not only up. A lot of people miss a little bit the downward versions of the intervals, but they are of course also happening in music. So sometimes they are really different in a way, like feeling very different. And so up and down is important to do. You also have just a list to remind yourself of these intervals. I mean, they're just this table there where you have just the numbers of all the intervals that you can check and see. Maybe I should practice that interval, or I have never practiced that, so I have to do that. Maybe I have to learn that interval, or like this is like this table there on. By the way, it's all on the PDF. Just go down in the description below. There you find a link where you can download this PDF. So it would be good to have it maybe for you also to as a reference, and when you want to practice these exercises. And also it supports this channel, of course. So do it. Thank you. All right, so we have these different intervals, and I take them. This table I just take sometimes to just go through all these intervals from maybe not unison, but from minor second up to the flat 9, and they're in a certain order. There was a course actually where we learned. Or where intervals were taught in that kind of an order. So it starts with the perfect fifths, goes to perfect fourths, then the perfect octave, then the major third, and so on. So it's a bit like from the simple to the more difficult intervals. So from the more harmonious intervals to the more dissonant, and from the maybe the more narrow intervals to the larger distances, like flat 9 and 9 would be like flat 9 would be difficult, for example, because it's a large interval and it's also a dissonant interval. And yeah, it goes up to the major nines, and everything else is of course like a compound interval. So an octave is added to the normal intervals. Of course, you can sing them. You can study that. I think it really depends a little bit on what kind of music you play or do or compose, because that really matters. I think just in general, like all practice, but especially also ear training practice, should be somehow really related to what's your musical world. Yeah. So for example, with transcriptions, which are of course they're good, great to do, and you can learn a lot from that. But then it should be really music which you really want to go into and really want to learn something from. So it should be like really, you should be really motivated that you really want to know what's happening there in that music. And when you have like, when you compose or play, you have a certain style and like improvising style or whatever, where you really enjoy playing very large like compound intervals. Of course, then you also, it would be wise to also be able to practice them, to be able to sing them and so on. So I think that's clear. Okay, so the first exercises, it's just you play a note and you sing it then, and then you sing the interval. So for example, I play a note here, yeah, and I can just play the note without knowing what I play actually. It's also as long as I know where my next note will be of the interval. Maybe I know it by the visual shape or whatever. We will later actually need the spellings also, or we want to practice the spellings also. But for this first, like very basic exercise, it doesn't matter at all. Yeah, so you just play the note and then you sing, okay, perfect fifths down, la, la, ta. Yeah, and then you check it with your instrument, or you think like you play another note and think like minor sevenths up, okay, and B flat or a note and minor seconds down. You sing the note, yeah, and that way you just proceed. You play a note and then you think, okay, major third down, low, yeah, and then you play it and you check it, and that's the way you progress through the. There is maybe I come to that right now, because if you really have trouble with intervals, I mean, you're in a way you're starting learning these intervals, or they just won't stick when you practice them. There's a really good course. I can really recommend that course, and that is from David Lucas Burge. Actually, it's the relative pitch the relative pitch ear training course, and this consists of nowadays 41 CDs. Before where I had it when I practiced that, there were still tapes. So I had like 20 tapes, and I practiced the whole course, and it's really good actually. It's really like it's actually like a real course. Lot of books and things also you find on the internet nowadays. Also some like programs. They are not really like a course. Yeah. So this actually really leads you through all these intervals and explain the theory as it is necessary and also appropriate to the topics you are just practicing. And you have a lot of possibilities, or a lot of how do you say? There's a lot of practice in that. Yeah? And it's really about singing the intervals and also naming the intervals. So really name the individual notes, that you really get a good idea about all the notes on the fretboard in this case, or also how the theory works together, how triads are structured. And this kind of a thing I can really recommend. It's quite expensive actually. Maybe you find somebody who has that, where you can borrow that if So if you're really thinking you need to learn all these intervals kind of from scratch and then really stabilize them also, then go for that course. So these exercises here, especially now the next exercise, is a little bit more for those who already have some kind of relative pitch, who like okay, I know the intervals. I in a way I'm able to sing them and so on. And this is more actually for more stabilizing the whole thing. And we will do here more like this mental, this imagination thing. We will go for to get an inner image, yeah, to mentally imagine, to hear it with our inner ear. We want to really bring it inside of us. Yeah, so let's go for that actually. So we go for the second exercise now, and you can just follow me also on the PDF or just here now. We play a note, yeah, and then we do not sing it. We stop playing it, but we try to imagine that note. Yeah, that we have it in our ears, and we want to keep it in our inner ear mentally. Go on with that note, and so don't sing. Then we imagine the next note of the interval, and we are really concerned also about spellings here. We know that is an E, and we want to sing. Let's sing a major second down, and we think, okay, what is a spelling? It's a D. All right, okay. So we know the spelling, and now we have to find it in our inner ear. We have to imagine the next note. Yeah, we still have our E. It's still in our ear, hopefully. And there are some like points here which you can focus on while doing that. As I said, one thing is really important to also be able to to also know the actual notes, the note names, yeah, because really we want to connect this exercise also with everything else we do in music and theory, and also knowing our fretboard, and be more clear also maybe about sight reading, or just the whole to really get a really strong foundation and work on that. Always, that's something you can always work on. Like this foundation, these fundamental exercises, note names, intervals, and all that scales and whatever, arpeggios, the basic techniques, and you can always work on these things, because they can always improve, and when they improve, it's more, the whole thing gets more and more stable and more confirmed in a way. So you really have to make sure also that you know the note names, yeah, the like E, D, F sharp, and so on, to really because we these intervals, they are really, like, of course they are connected with the note names, and we want to this ear training should be like, the purpose should be that we actually get better better guitarists. And we have to deal with all these notes all the time. So, like, when you have an F sharp and a D, oh, that's a major third, and you know, then when you do ear training, you know how it sounds, and it's like one thing, like these two pitches together, they are this interval, and that's a certain sound, melodic or harmonic, or so it's not like a separate thing. This is the sound of a major third. Okay. And there you have a scale which has D and E and F sharp and D. Okay. So that you really connect the hearing, the ear training with the notes and the musical and your musical practice, that you also use these exercises to really also just learn the notes on the guitar, because that's also really important, and a lot of people and a lot of guitarists miss this thing a little bit, because knowing the notes brings everything together, I mean, the sounds, the theory, the chords, scales, whatever. It's like, and you have to know your instrument. That's really important, Okay, I could I could go on and on with that also, but let's go back. So just be sure that you know the names of the notes too, and really also the right spellings. That's another story actually. Yeah, that you know that a major third, you sing a major third, and it should be like when you start with this E, what we had, and you sing a major third down, it's a C. And it's not a C, not a B sharp or a C to an F flat or something like that. Yeah, or when you go from for example, let's take when it's like when this is a C flat, or no, let's take an E flat for example. Let's take an E flat, and we want to have a major third down. We really have to know that an E flat, a major third down, is not a B, yeah, but it's a C flat. If you are a bit confused with that and you don't understand why I can call that a B or whatever, and why a major third is not E flat to B, you have to make sure that you spruce that up, because you have to know these spellings right. So B and E flat as a major third is definitely wrong. So you have to check that. You have to check that maybe the internet, or how intervals are spelled. I don't want to go into that here. Yeah, here are just these exercises, and everything else you just do by yourself. You find out by yourself if you have any questions. By the way, but if you really are confused and you really you need more help, or you think you almost got understood this exercise or whatever, just put your question or your problem or your confusion in the comment field below. Then I can maybe put out another video or help you with that. Okay, so back to our exercise. We have we play our note. We know that is an E, and then we think, okay, then we have it in our ear, yeah, in our ear, without singing it. That's still there somehow. And now we imagine our major second going down, because that's the interval we wanted to sing, to find. And there are different ways what we can do now. Yeah, right now we kind of think this E in our head, and we don't play anything. So it's like silence. We don't have anything. Just in our ear we have that E. And we can do now. We can try to imagine. I mean, first, of course, we search for that note, and we think, okay, where is that note, the D, and do we hear it inside? Yeah, and really go for an as clear as possible inner picture or inner imagination, or like you sing it with your like inner voice, you can say. It's like you have that note, and then this D is really like, it's really there. It's really like, yeah, that you really have that note in your head before you sing anything. That you really try working on this inner imagination of that note. Imagine that note, how it sounds like, and as vivid as possible. And also, when you do that, that's also because we want to use all these intervals, and we want to use this ear training for our music, and maybe for our improvisation. I mean, I'm thinking more like when I'm practicing ear training that I'm more prepared for improvisation, and of course playing with others and hearing what the others are doing, the other musicians in a band. So the idea of these intervals, like one big big goal is to get more like a kind of a sound imagination of your fretboard. Yeah, that you a certain shape, for example, will associate a certain sound, or that you play a note and you think of another note, and you find that very quick. Yeah, you play a note, it's sounding, and then you think of another note because you improvise and you want to go to that pitch, and then you have to find out where is that. Yeah, and that should be, of course, getting very, very quick. So that's actually what we are like preparing for, or what we are practicing to really get this connection of sound and the fretboard, the different shapes, the body in a way, how the fingers are placed on this whole fretboard, and what sounds are associated with that. So this is like to get this kind of a really, we want to work on a really strong connection of that. That is like getting more and more one thing. Of course, it is like you can always improve that. I mean, you will never be, I think, never be satisfied in a way. It's difficult actually. Also, especially I think on the guitar, because it's so the concept. I mean, it has some advantages. I have to say, some like also shapes. You can just move fret-wise up and down, and then it's always the same sound. It's always a major third or whatever. But if you're right in the playing, and then you want to go very quickly to a third note, it's a challenge. Yeah, it's not so. It's something you can always, in a way, you can always improve to get this instant kind of thing where your inner ear tells you this note would be really cool now, and you go there and play it. Yeah, so that kind of ability we practice with these exercises to get this inner imagination, and to imagine, and that's what I wanted to say actually, to imagine to visualize the interval on your fretboard. So without playing the D, I have the E, and without playing the D, I imagine it on the fretboard, and I can go quite far with that. For example, I can really not just see the spot in my imagination on the fretboard, like on the 5th string, the 5th fret. There's my D. That's one thing. I can go even further to imagine how I play that actually with my hand. So my body gets that I play this D with a little finger, and then I can. So I have my E with my first finger and the D with a little finger to also have this in a harmonic, to play that harmonic, and then I can feel that. I can try to really feel how it feels playing this D on the 5th string with my little finger. How the string feels, and I can really go into that, to really imagine that. And this might sound a little bit strange, the whole thing, but what it will lead to more and more will lead to that actually if you do not have your instrument with you, if you just take a walk in the park, you kind of by itself, by without thinking too much, you will start just playing, yeah, in your head. It will just happen, and or you might push that a little bit and try to play in your head while you're not with your instrument, and this will really improve your abilities. Yeah, your brain gets used in a very also efficient way, and you will really get this inner mental picture, so that when you actually play, then your imagination and your it's hard to describe, your mastery of these things is much stronger, because it's not depending on the actual playing. Yeah, you are away from the instrument, and you just already have this sensation in a way. You don't need it from the instrument, so you don't need always this trigger, how it sounds, how it feels when you actually really play it, to move on to something else. Yeah, so you in a way you're training that your inner imagination, your inner ear, your deeper self, so to speak, will control the whole thing, will more be in control, and bring the music. Let's the fingers do the right thing. So it's not the finger do something and fingers do something, and then you judge later, was it good or not. It's really like more from inside. And this is like, it might sound a little bit abstract in a way, and maybe it's not completely clear. You can also check out another lesson. It was the inner voice I put out here also on Guitar Academia, which I think it's really important and good lesson also, which has really to do with that subject. And yeah, I thought I think it's important that I talked now about that, that because just singing the intervals and be able to sing a perfect fifth or a major second maybe not immediately make you a better guitarist. You know, in a way. I mean, you have to connect that with your instrument, with your playing, with your knowledge, and this imaginations thing will really help. I mean, will really improve your abilities. Okay, so back to our major second. So we have our E in our ear, and then we imagine this D, and we see it in our, we visualize that D, and we don't have to. I mean, we don't have to think how does it feel. Yeah, I mean that's sometimes also it's better to reduce the task and just focus on the sound aspect, but also on the location on the fretboard. Yeah, that's also always when you sing E and you sing this D, you should know where it is. Either it's in the open string or on the 5th fret on the 5th string. Yeah, and when you imagine that note, then you sync up that sound and the place on the location, the location on the fretboard, and then you sing it. La. Yeah, and then you check it with your instrument whether it's right or wrong. And if it's wrong, think about, try to analyze why it's wrong. What happened? Yeah, maybe you thought another interval, or you just are confused with the locations on the fretboard, or you mixed it up with another interval. You sang something else, and then you then try to compare. Then compare these both intervals. So it's a bit like correction. Yeah, you do like a sort of correction with not just go on and do the next, but you detected a kind of a problem, and then you go into that and try to correct it. Yeah, so compare these two intervals, which you sang and that what is actually what you should have sung. Yeah, so okay. A kind of a next step, if you feel more and more comfortable with imagining the interval. And by the way, you can imagine that also harmonically. Yeah, you can imagine that melodically, that you think okay. That you always think like okay, E D E D E D. That's kind of a thing goes in your head, but you can also try to imagine both notes together. Yeah, that you have this kind of a vibrant quality of this major second in this case, and you really, in a way, you really feel that. You go for the feeling, and we do the third exercise will actually be more about that. So that, but yeah, that's to imagine this interval also harmonic as a harmonic sound. Of course, the main thing is you play a note, you keep it in your head, so you do not constantly repeat that note. It's just one time. Let's do another note now. B flat, and you keep it in your head, and then you think of an interval like a perfect fourth down, yeah, and then you try to imagine that, and then you sing it. Ba. Yeah, so without having all these extra exercises. I mean, just you play a note, you stop, you imagine that, you try to keep it in your head, imagine another note, another interval, and when you have that, also the note name, then sing it. And sing it on the note name. For example, you have an F, and you think of a tritone moving down, for example. You keep that F in your head, and then you have your B, you have this place here, B, and then you sing it, yeah, on B. So you sing B, yeah, and or E flat and a minor seventh up, D flat. Yeah, that's actually the basic exercise. I do not recommend, by the way, having like beginnings of songs or something like as associations. Like, okay, I know how this song, the first interval of that song, that is my major second or my major third. I would, if you have these associations, it's okay. I mean, don't fight against them, but don't try to make up new ones. I mean, because intervals are happening in all kinds of strange places, surroundings. So it's like a major third, of course, can be also in the song. It's maybe a major third, like really root major third, but it also can be the minor third of a minor triad going to the perfect fifth or something like that. So if the whole context is changing, like an interval can really be very different. I mean, not. I mean, some quality will stay, but if you have this song, the beginning of a song, it's it's more easily that you get a little bit distracted by the song's tonality already. Yeah, so that you should try to go for the pure interval and just what is the tension? What is this interval sounding? Okay, there are some general points. Take your time. Yeah, patience, practice without straining, relaxed, have fun, enjoy it. That's important, you know, that you try to have a good, it feels good, the whole thing, and that you really take your time and don't judge too much, you know, like, oh, I can't sing this, why it's so difficult, or there are all these things which are like said like not ear training but fear training, or ears training, or this kind of a thing. It's all has to do with not have fun and not being relaxed and not having patience. So really take your time. Yeah, just take your time. Think, okay, a major 7th down from F. Play the note. Yeah, and then know where this place is. It's like this G flat here. Okay. G flat. Yeah, and then play it. And when it takes more time, who cares? Or when you sang a different note, who cares? Just listen to that interval then and go into that. And that's actually the third exercise. It's called interval meditation. And actually I had this from a friend I studied with, and he told me that actually he really learned these intervals when he was starting practicing that. It was an exercise also, I think, from his teacher, I don't know, where he really sat down and played one interval for 20 minutes. Yeah, was really going into that, like listening, singing the lower note, singing the higher note, imagining the whole thing, sing one note while imagining the other. That's all written there, all these different activities you can do. But mainly, basically, the idea... Let's get another coffee. The basic idea is really that you stick to one interval. So let's take a nice one. Let's take D flat and F. Yeah, we play that harmonically. The idea is to really get this sound in your heart, that you really understand this quality, this how does it sound? Is it tense? Is it relaxed sounding? Yeah, is it bright? Is it dark? Just ask yourself these questions. Sometimes I do with these kind of structures, also with chords. I play a chord or an interval in this case, and I try to imagine a whole situation. You know, you hear that interval and you think, okay, oh, maybe that's a kind of a beautiful, more sunny day. Are there any clouds? What's the temperature? Are there other people? Is it busy? What kind of place is that? Is it in a park, or is it on the streets, or whatever? So in a way to really let go your imagination in a way, like to really go nuts in a way, to just follow your associations, you know, just associations. Don't judge them. They just come, and it's sometimes it's really interesting, you know, why you have that association, and it's a bit about psychology also. So your trigger in a way is just this interval, and then you imagine maybe, imagine things, what find different associations. Associations, by the way, is the thing to store informations in your memory, and associations are the most important thing when it comes to recall informations. So it's not what I know so far. As I studied like a little bit of like this brain research science, that the actual storing process is actually not really the thing. It's more about like the recalling, that you can recall that. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff you are storing in your brain, and you just don't know. Yeah, but then years later, or then suddenly you remember something, and you wonder, oh wow, I completely forgot that. Yeah, and this we want to avoid when we practice this interval, this music. We don't want to. We want to really have this interval ready, so be able to recall them very quick. And if you have a really strong association, you always play this major third, and you think of this sunny situation there in the past, somewhere, somehow. Then of course you will always know this interval. You know. Okay. Yeah. So really go for the sound and play this interval. Listen to that. Really go deep into that atmosphere, into that world of this major third. And then you can just play one note and imagine this. You can just imagine it, or you can sing it while playing the D flat. Listen for intonation, and listen how this feels also in the body. This interval, yeah? This kind of these two notes together. What is created there? It's a kind of a tension. Yeah, you go for your intonation when you listen. That to have a good intonation, you feel there is some friction. Yeah, and feel that. Then do the other way around. Yeah, play the F sharp, the F, and think of the D flat. Think it in your mind. Just hear it in your mind, the D flat, and then sing it also. D flat. Then just stop. Imagine singing these notes back and forth, like F, D flat, or D flat, F. It's really. And also imagine these two notes played together. And if your imagination goes off, if you suddenly have other notes in your mind, in your ear, just go back and play the interval. Yeah, play it again. Or play one note and try to think of the other. Or there's so many variations, and also what's also on the pages here, what's like a thing to remember. I mean, like a procedure. You have these three different exercises, and you just can combine them like freely. I mean, just have a clear idea what you want to do. You know, is it about the singing or is it about you don't understand really, or one interval is so difficult for you that you really go into this meditation thing and really do exercise 3 more. and then maybe you skip to exercise 2 to just try it from different notes to sing that interval, concentrate on that interval. So you can really just combine all these things. Yeah. So to really think from situation to situation. I mean, every day you are a new student, you know, and once you learn something, the whole thing changes a bit. You know, your perspective changes a bit, or the necessity of practicing that or that changes. Yeah. So think about the complete thing here, this PDF, this lesson here of like, this is actually just variations of the same thing. It's about intervals, understanding intervals harmonically and melodically, and also imagine these intervals and know the intervals, the names of the notes on the fretboard. These are the different things we get into here, and then you can just combine aspects and make your own practice kind of routine, but always change it. You know, that's what I mean. I mean, really be aware of what's needed and then apply these different concepts. Yeah, and we can really mix these 3 exercises. And there is another great book. It's very heavy. It's very challenging, this thing. It's called Modus Novus by Lars Edlund. And that book is about, it's actually a collection of atonal fragments, or also like excerpts of like atonal songs by Webern and so on. And there it's like a kind of a gradual progressing through intervals. You start with, I think, just with I think major and minor seconds, or it's a long time ago actually. We had this. We really studied that book at Berklee College of Music. I took atonal solfège there, and in the first semester of atonal solfège, we practiced that book, and it really consists of like very often like just very small note combinations, just 3 notes or 2 notes even. 2 notes, no, 3 notes or 4, and which were all like in a way picked from the atonal music repertoire, or which were just like created to kind of destroy this idea of tonality in a way. So just have like I mean, for example, like augmented triads, for example, si la mi pa di do, or major perfect fourth, na ta ti ta di do ta 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 ta, or singing, for example, combinations like B, my sharp C. Yeah, to have these kind of, this is a chromatic kind of a triad here, to really have these very strange, these combinations of notes where you really have to know your intervals. Otherwise, you would not be able to sing that. Also by the beginnings of songs, you would be really confused. So the idea is really to in that book to have a real good like interval practice. The problem is, one problem is quite an expensive book. I think I think you should borrow that from the library or get it from a friend for a while. And the other problem, of course, which I now find very relevant for myself now, is that they actually have nothing to do with my personal idea about my music, what would I want to do. I'm actually not so much interested in having these atonal tonality destroying sound and these concepts. So that's actually why, because I remember I went in to the library some years ago, and I wanted to just go through these pages again, to all these exercises and fragments, and then I very quickly I found out I don't know, it's not my music. It's so apart in a way from what I do. So I really decided myself to find just these kind of ear training exercises which are really relevant for myself, for my music, which are really like very focused on certain aspects, and then really are connected with my musical world, with what I want to do. That they really help, that in a way what I want to play, that I also be able to hear it, and that my ear really gets into that. And so I hope that that is clear. So I think that's in general, that's a very, very important thing, to really connect your practice with your musical vision. So where you want to go and what is on that way. And of course, I mean, I think it was really good to do these exercises, these atonal solfège. Yeah, there might be like a period in your development as a musician where it's really helpful, but you don't need it maybe later in that way. I know when I had like lessons with Mick Goodrick, also at the time at Berklee College of Music, he asked me, why are you doing atonal solfège? You know, he didn't really understand, and I think it's really the idea of to connect something with. If I would have said then, these are the melodies I really want to play, then I think he would say, okay, yeah, sure. But if they are not really connected with your musical world, you have to have a good excuse. Yeah. So, for example, if you really rely on these beginnings of songs, then I think this book, Modus Novus, would be really cool, because it will really challenge you then, and you more and more you actually will learn these intervals just by sound, and get rid of these associations. I think this will really happen, because you can't think of these associations anymore. You have to think, okay, a major second is na la da, another major second da wa wa wa. Yeah. So you really and always think of a certain melody all the time, starting from the next note. It's just Okay. Anyway, I talked a lot. I think it's clear. I hope it's clear, and I just see the time is running, and I do not want to make a 3-hour lesson here. So I think you got this basic idea. If there are more questions, if you're confused and so on, have some problems with some explanations or some exercises here, please let me know down in the comment field below. Yeah, so that's it for this lesson. Intervals, ear training intervals. And if you like those lessons here on Guitar Academia, please don't forget to subscribe, and also click the bell button to get notifications when a new video will be released. That's the case every week. You will get like a quick, short little notification, so that you know, and you can follow this what happens here on this channel more easily, of course. And also there's a possibility to really support this channel. Just go down in the description to the link on my website, huphildenbrand.com, the Guitar Academia page. There you have a button where you can also donate. This would be also really cool to get more involved in the whole process, because this, I hope this thing will go on quite a while, because there are still so many topics which I have and I want to share here with you. So yeah, so would be cool. I also have a lot of fun here, and I also learn a lot by doing that, just myself actually. But I hope it's also, of course, it's about you. It's a helpful, really helpful for you, and you really get something out, and it will help you to overcome maybe certain difficulties on your way to become a better musician. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and my name is Hupil.